Hello, hello, and welcome to the Color Whisperer Show, where we talk about all things home and healing. Today, I want to talk about intuition because my intuition has been on fire. And you know what? I didn't freaking listen to it. Me, of all people, I didn't listen to it. What the hell, right? Like, I know better. My stupid brain got in the way because I was like, oh, but no, I've got history with this person. Oh, but no, they wouldn't do anything bad. Oh, no, I was really stressed, and I was like, if I get them out of my house, then I will have to find somebody else to finish the job. I had some work done on my house, and oh my God, I didn't listen to my intuition. I blew it. And ultimately, I got to be mad at myself for that because every step of the way, it was screaming at me, but it doesn't scream, right? It doesn't scream. And the brain comes in and says, right? So you've had this happen, right? We've all had this happen. You're getting ready to leave the house, and something in you says, you need to grab a red pen. Then your brain comes in and goes, why do I need a red pen? I'm not going anywhere I need a red pen for today. What do I need a red pen for? Who needs a red pen? Like hardly ever, right? So you go about your day and you get somewhere, and next thing you know, you're like, I needed a red pen today. Who knew? You did, but you didn't listen. And then you're shooting yourself in the foot. Why didn't I bring that red pen? Why didn't I listen to myself? And this is part of honoring ourselves. Why aren't we listening to ourselves? We're letting all the noise, the chatter. You go on Facebook, everybody hates everybody. This is distracting us from our intuition. You know, people are getting in terrible conversations, calling each other's names, and the whole purpose is just to keep it so we can't hear the real chatter. We can't hear the intuition, so we can see what's real and what's not, because our intuition is so on point. But it's easy to get drowned out when you get stressed. That's what happened to me. I was super stressed. Something that was supposed to take 4 days took 6 weeks. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't, that's why it's so important for self-care. People talk about self-care, but honestly, it's about keeping your energy straight so you can hear those intuitive moments. Had I listened to my intuition, I would not be in the mess I'm in right now. And I am in, there's so much crap you wouldn't believe that I could tell you. And I don't even want to go through it again because I'm not going to give it life. But if you've got somebody who is coming after you, you have to just distance and say, you know what? Chop it off here. You cannot touch my energy. That's what you got to do. There's a lot of ways to do it. You want to do it, call me, ask me. I got lots of ways. But it's really important to listen, because there were so many days I was like, I don't want that man in my house. I don't want that man in my house. I don't want that man in my house. Can't prove it, but I think he stole from me. He was rude. He was violent. He was abusive. Like, oh my God, and let's face it, most of these projects as women, we're on our own when these things happen, right? If you're married, the husband's usually at work and he's not taking care of this stuff. We're doing it. So we're letting these strange men in our homes from different things. I've never had a situation with a client like this. Thank God. I'm so grateful for that. But we're alone. We're vulnerable, right? Years ago, I had a quasi date with somebody. That went really bad. He wanted a lot more. We can just leave it at that. You know what the worst part was? I knew this guy. I would have let this guy in my house. I would have said, "Yeah, come pick me up. Yeah, come in, have a cup of coffee or whatever," and I wouldn't have blinked. Really, really glad I didn't do that. I did listen to my intuition that time. I said, "No, let's go meet at the restaurant." Really, really glad I did that. The night would have had a very, very, very different ending had I not. As women, we feel things. This is our superpower, is we feel things. Our heart is our superpower. I'm not saying that men are unfeeling or anything, but men get stuck in their heads. They do. And part of it is our nature. Guys, you know, thousands of years of what do you call it? Evolution. Their job is to go hunt, to go kill, to go get that one thing to provide, right? They're out shooting for a deer or whatever animal it is. That's their single focus. Ever try to send your husband to the grocery store without a list? Good luck with that one. They can't do it. But women, we're gatherers and we're nurturers and we're constantly looking around us. What can I use? What can be done with that? How can I help with that? Oh, someone so said they need something. They need that. Okay, I'll pick it up. I'll give it to them. You know, how many times you're going down the hall and you know, you're cleaning as you go. Oh, this needs to go to the bedroom, especially if you have stairs. Who has a pile on their stairs at the bottom and at the top, right? Oh, this has got to go upstairs. This has got to come downstairs. I had lived in a 2-story house for about a year. It wasn't my house. If it was my house, there'd be piles going up. But you had to really think about it, right? And just, you know, in my house, in the 1-story house, I'm still constantly thinking, oh, there's something in this room that needs to go to the other part of the house. And we don't think about it. That's the thing. We don't think about it. It's just like, oh, you're walking along and you're like, oh, somebody left a cup there. I'm going to bring it to the kitchen. Oh, somebody left their shoes in the living room. I'm going to bring it to the bedroom as you're going back the next time you're going back. It's just unconscious. We don't even think about it. But it's those instincts that keep us going, that keep us alive. I read this book. Oh my God, it was such a good book. It was on the survivors of Jamestown. So this goes back to the 1600s and the first settlers in Jamestown. And they were told, oh, America's land of milk and honey, everything's, you know, bountiful and da da da. They were sold, let me tell you. They didn't know where they were going. They didn't know nothing, but they needed people to volunteer to settle. So they told this beautiful story about what was ahead of them. And they get here and they're like, none of that's here. And there's Indians and there's this and there's that. And nobody knows how to farm here. And they did know how to farm, but it wasn't, you know, there was different crops here. And they're just like, oh, crap, what do we do? And the first, you know, they were on rationed food to begin with because there was a lot more people that came in than were expected. They hadn't prepared because they didn't. I mean, it took like months for boats to cross the ocean, so they didn't know when they would get there, and they hadn't really prepared as much as they could have or should have. And you know, they didn't know if they're going to be 10 people on the boat. Well, they figured there'd probably be more than 10 people on the boat because, you know, it's not worth it to send 10 people on a boat. But that first winter, many people died. I forget the exact number, but something like 85% of people died. Crazy, right? Mostly from starvation. So the lady who wrote this book, how they survived was they went out And they could see early on, hey, we're not going to have enough food. And the way they're rationing things, we're not going to have enough food, and they're not going to know what to do. And so they started collecting acorns, and they made something called acorn meal. And they were walking around in the woods one day, and they happened to notice the squirrels were gathering acorns. And they're like, well, the squirrels can eat food, eat acorns, then we can. And so this is what they did. And they created meal, this acorn meal, and it was like gruel. It was nothing tasty by any means. What was the line from Crocodile Dundee? Well, it tastes like shit, but you can eat it, right? Uh-oh, we got some lighting issues going on. How come? Go back, go back, go back, go back. It's not happy. Okay, well, let me see if I can move to another part of the house. Oh, that's a little better, isn't it? Okay, so, but it got them through and they survived because their intuition looked at those squirrels and said, how can we do it? Their intuition told them, hey, because they were being told, oh no, we got you, we're going to take care of you, we're going to take. Their intuition said, no, we got to help ourselves. So now, on a completely other matter, I'm working on a project. Oh my God, my intuition is going like bells off, like you wouldn't believe. It's practically happening by itself. It feels like magic. Every little step of this project is freaking amazing. And I start working on it, and like my heart's beating faster. I'm just like, I got this big grin on my face. It's amazing. And I get through and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait to work on it again. I can't stop working on it. I don't want to stop working on it. And it just feels so effortless. This is how God points us in different directions. Hey, you don't want to do that anymore. I didn't want this man in my house. There was a lot of good reasons why I didn't want this man in my house. I didn't listen. Because my brain said, oh, you've known this man for a long time. Don't worry about it. We got to listen to our hearts. Got to listen to our hearts. But in this other project, oh, my heart is just overflowing with joy. So I want you to really look at these moments. When you hear that little voice inside you, I've told you about the time with my asthma. I went to the closet because I started sobbing after the big release. I went to see the healer, and he was able to release the trauma that was causing my asthma. And I went to the bathroom because I was like, Kleenex? This isn't even close for Kleenex. I'm like, this is not. We need way more than Kleenex here. And I stood in front of the cabinet door, and this little voice in my head, you need the green towel. At first, I grabbed the first one, and it said, nope, nope, nope. You want the green towel. Green helps you deal with emotions. Green helps you heal emotions. That's what I needed. Totally what I needed. That's what I did. And when I was done, I could see why. So our body is always telling us what we need. We just don't always know how to listen. And the healing work I do, every ache, every pain is telling you something. You're constantly crossing your arms underneath your chest. You're guarding yourself. You're protecting yourself. Maybe you always keep, some people might do it with a purse. They do the across the shoulder purse. And that purse strap is protection. It isn't for everybody. Sometimes it's just, it's harder to steal. But in that case, it's still a protection, right? Our bodies talk. They truly, truly talk. And our intuition can be loud. But we can't let our brain get in the way. You've got to listen. In order to listen, you got to slow down. If you're running a mile a minute, you can't hear that voice. You don't hear that voice. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. I've had that happen to me before. Like, okay, I don't get it. I had a weird dream last night. This is kind of interesting. So, talking about listening to your intuition and how we listen to our intuition is being in our bodies. Huh? What the hell does that mean? Of course, I'm in my body. Where else would I be? No, but that's when we get in our head. When we're in our heads, we're not in our bodies. So I had this really weird dream last night. Warning you, it's very weird. So I was out with this guy and we went in to kiss, like a really deep kiss, right? And there's nothing there. There was like usually when you kiss like that, there's a level of intimacy. There's connection. You might feel their breath. You might, there's a lot of depth that goes on there. There was nothing. It was like, I don't know, there was nothing there. Like the mouth wasn't connected to his body. And when I got out of the dream was just what we talked about is people who are in their heads all the time. They're not experiencing their bodies. So like in high school, everybody jokes, oh, the nerd doesn't know nothing about romance. And in high school, it's very rare that the nerd is, we don't know what's going on with them. But oftentimes they're not so much interested in romance. They're looking at more towards college than they are towards their next date because that's what's important to them. But you ever kiss somebody or even hug somebody and maybe your husband came home from work or your boyfriend and you can tell they're still processing the day and they're not really there? It's because they're in their head. But those incredible romantic moments, those only happen when you're in your body, when you're in your heart, when you can feel it. And us women, that's our superpower. It's being connected to our heart. Being connected. We have this innate ability to feel on a deeper level than guys do. It's part of that mothering instinct. It's part of that. Some people say it's not instinct, it's not this. I don't know. I see a kid in trouble. I act first and think twice. It's like, if I've got a kid around me, I react first and it's like it's my kid. I wouldn't want my kid to get hurt. I'm not going to let the kid do something to hurt himself. I'm not going to. You know, I mean, if I'm out in the public and I see a 3-year-old wandering around by itself, I start looking for where's the parent? Where's the parent? Sometimes mom's got another baby in her arms and she's like, frantic. Sometimes they're just 10 feet behind and little kids like to run. Okay. But I'm always looking. Okay. Is this kid okay? What's going on? When I had my miscarriage, I didn't know if I'd be able to design again for a little while there, honestly, because I design from my heart. I can design a lot from my head, but where I really design is from my heart. And my heart was broken in so many pieces. There wasn't anything, there was nothing but shards. There's nothing to work from. So for a while there, I had to work with my head. I didn't have a choice. And the level of work was totally different at that point. The kind of jobs I got, everything seemed to change at that point. Because my heart just couldn't. It's healed. It's fine now. Woohoo. I get to design for sure from my heart. And it's wonderful. That's where the best stuff is. That's where the magic happens. It's intuition. And the more we step into our intuition, the more we step into our hearts, the more powerful we become as women. I'm not going to speak for men. You got your own biology. I'm just speaking for women because, yay, me, right? But this is our superpower. Lean into that intuition. Listen for it. Don't ignore it because it will come back and bite you in the butt if you do. Guarantee that. Guarantee that. Every single time I've ignored my intuition. Like, oh, I should have. Even if it's something stupid like, you need a red pen today. Sometimes, listen, I call my car the Mary Poppins car because it's so wild how sometimes I'll get something for a different client and they don't like it at all. But then I'll see another client and like, oh, I've got the perfect thing for you in my car. Who knew? It's exciting. I show it to them. They're like, oh my God, I love it. And I feel a bit like Mary Poppins reaching into her carpet bag and going, here we go. Let me go check my car. It's all good. I got this. Because that intuition's speaking. And pretty good at listening to my intuition when it comes to design. Sometimes I'm human too. And I shut out the noise. The noise gets loud. You lose sleep. You're getting stressed. You're thinking about too many things. So you got to slow down, breathe, trust yourself. Absolutely trust yourself. Because the alternative, it's not pretty. So I want to see, are there any questions about intuition here? Is there anything? Is anybody, I don't know who, we were starting to do chat stuff. I don't know if we continued with that, Mark. Are we still doing YouTube? Are we still doing TikTok? Or anybody has any questions about intuition and how you can get more in touch with yours? I'd love to answer them.
We are still doing TikTok and definitely Instagram and stuff like that. Sometimes it's after the show and not necessarily during the show. But yeah, if anybody's got questions, I'm sure that Jeanette would love to hear your thoughts. I was thinking about intuition because I've definitely had those intuitive moments myself. You were talking about guys versus women, but I even remember a long time ago when I went to a journalism camp. I don't think I've ever told you this story, even though I've told it at other places as well. But it was a journalism camp in my high school years, and I did not know any of the people there. But it was like as soon as I got there, I had a sense of deja vu. It was almost as if I had met those people before I had actually met them. And these were people from Maryland, because I think Fame Rich Payne was from Columbia, Maryland. I think Harriet Rowland was from South Carolina, and there was a gentleman, I think his name was Kenneth. And there was about maybe 8 or 9 of us. It was actually the year that my um, grandfather died, because that was the year that I did the journalism camp. So I was a high school kid and everything. So we're talking many decades ago and everything like that. But I still remember that because I just was going in there. And I've had other moments like that, but I just remember going like, don't know any of you people, but I feel like I've seen y'all before, and it was probably from a dream of intuition and everything like that. It was probably a message that these people would be good for me, and that would be a good experience because it was a good experience. They carried me through a lot of stuff, including a track competition because I bragged that I was a track runner and everything like that. I was not a good track runner. As a matter of fact, I was very bad and everything like that. But I kind of like was being having some bravado and challenged a guy to a race. And I think, and this might have been part of the story that I told you before. I challenged him. I was chicken and I never went to the track and finally talked myself into going to the track. And I think I saw some of my friends that I had met, ironically, before I actually met them, they were coming back from the track. And I think I asked them something like, yeah, I know y'all are probably disappointed. The guy probably was showing up, and he's probably bragging about how he's going to kick my backside and everything like that. And I think that if I remember the dream correctly or the incident correctly, they told me that he didn't show up either.
That's kind of
But
funny.
yep, it was one of those
No, I
intuition.
think guys have intuition too. I think that some guys are more open to it than others. Just I mean,
Yep.
women too. It's some people are just more aware of it than others.
Mhm.
And but I think that it's you know, women, I think we have to, I mean, we are the frailer sex. We're smaller. We're not as strong. As a general rule, there's some people that are, but for the most part, you guys could usually overpower us if you wanted to.
Yeah,
And,
well, I don't know. I've seen some big women that probably could knock me out and do some
oh,
daring
yeah, there's
damage.
some women bodybuilders out there that can certainly hold their own for sure.
And there's even
But,
that one that Christy, the boxer, that Sydney Sweeney is playing her in a role, and I think that she's now in a lesbian relationship, but she was at the time married to her husband, and I think they were saying that the husband was abusive to her, but they made a whole movie that's out and now and everything like that. But yeah, intuition, I think everybody has it. The thing I was going to say about your intuition is that sometimes we don't listen to it because I have definitely had intuition about even business relationships that I didn't feel were good for me and all along those lines. And there's this whole notion of keep your friends close and your enemies even closer and everything like that that I've heard people say in the business world. I don't say that I necessarily agree with it, but I do know that there's some people that I have had business dealings with that were not the most positive business dealings, and I probably had some intuition as to the nature of the business and whether it would be a business where they would be taking advantage of me versus me taking advantage of them. And they're not even taking advantage, but being equal partners. That's a better word and everything like that.
yeah,
But sometimes
yeah,
we don't, sometimes it's like relationships. We don't want to listen to what is obvious because that's one of the things about intuition. Sometimes the intuition can tell you what is obvious. Because even in the speaking of intuition, I know that there have been relationships that were bad for me, and I'm not going to go down a whole thing because we're trying to end the show relatively early and everything like that. But there have been relationships that I knew were bad for me, even early in the relationship. But for whatever reasons, I tried to stay in them, even though intuition was telling me I need to leave before I left.
yeah. Well, you know what? One thing my intuition is really good on:
It's really good on
what
telling
to
me about
eat.
what to
What
eat.
to eat. And I know that can do spices is really good. My intuition, my brain, they're all in together. Can do spice is amazing. So let's go to a can do spice commercial.
We're gonna go to a Kindle Spice commercial, which means I've got to change this background. Unfortunately, I think it's the other background on the other one as well, because I think Kindle Spice is hanging out in the radio background and everything like that. So you might see a different background, but I think I've got your background there as well and everything like that. But because I think I've got it on both of the folders, so I'm gonna go and see if I've got it on both folders and everything like that. Otherwise, we're just gonna go. Oh yeah, so I do have it on both of them. There they go. There's the one that you are liking and knowing and all along those lines. By the way, if anybody around the world, not just in California where the lovely Jeanette is, but around the world would love to get this amazing woman's services and everything like that, do go to her website, which is right there. And I don't think the website is there, but the telephone is right there. So definitely, if you got some
It's
need for the
thecolorwhisperer.com. It's really easy.
thecolorwhisperer.com, and you can also give her a call and everything like that. But if you've got some interior designing needs and wants and all along those lines, this is an amazing lady that has amazing skills, and she'll treat you right and everything like that. So I'm giving an endorsement and saying that you definitely need to give her a call or also check out the website. And if you have questions for this particular show, definitely, whether it's around your own interior design or things like that, maybe it's why you want to call her, give her a call, but also you can send questions to this particular show, and you can send them to Jeanette, or you can send them to me at bluesradio@gmail.com and everything like that. And I know Jeanette will gladly answer those questions. But right now we're going to get to Kendu Spices, but that was my brief commercial for the Color Whisperer. I hope that Jeanette enjoyed it.
Thank you.
No problem. Right now, let's check out Kendu Spice.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny Can Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can Do Spice a try.